What's up, everybody? Back with another one. This is actually a very special Thanksgiving episode. So in honor of Thanksgiving and the roast ceremony, we actually have the very special guest today. All the way from Indianapolis, he's the creator of Roast War Championship, the mastermind behind the cage, behind the belt. And he is here today to talk with us about the process of roasting. I mean, how you can be a better roaster. Right, and just and how this thing began. So would you like to introduce yourself, Mr. Brad Rigler?
Man, dude, I can't thank you enough, Johnny.
This is great.
It means a lot, dude. I got to tell you something. I'm Brad Rigler, producer, host, and creator of the RWC, baby, the Roast War Championship, the greatest, the best traveling roast battle show in the country. If you know of another, let me know. Have you heard of anything better?
I have not.
Boom. Well, then guess what? It's not hyperbole. It's real. And you know what? We put it inside a steel cage. Am I wrong?
It's not wrong, dude, but it feels wrong when you're in there.
But that's why, it feels so right to see.
Yes.
How many people out there tonight want to see Johnny Woods in a cage, whether or not it's for a roast battle or just in general?
Oh, you're trying to hype me up for another cage match.
That's what I'm saying, baby. Everybody.
Dog, you're bringing some heat, dog.
I say Johnny Woods cage. People are like, when, where, how much?
Who wants to battle me? Hey, how about that? Plant the camera on me. Who wants to battle me in our hometown, Dayton, Ohio, right now? Let's bring Roast War Championships to Dayton.
That's right. It's got to be a big show.
You want to bring the cage here?
If I have a big show. If I have Johnny Woods versus somebody who could possibly, in the Dayton-Cincy area, step up, I don't know.
Does it have to be a comedian?
They probably should know their shit. If they're not a comic, here, that's a great question. That's a very good question. Because a lot of us got into comedy because we were hanging out with our boys, smoking dope, drinking and talking shit to them. And they're like, dude, talk so much shit. You should be a comedian.
Yes.
But then you get up on stage and it's not like that at all.
No, it's an art form.
So that's why I brought the Roast War Championship, because I wanted to bring that talent, that initial fire that people have in talking shit, and be able to give them the opportunity to do that for our entertainment in a battle, in a competitive situation. Who's the best shit talker?
You're not kidding.
And that's what I want.
Yeah, that's such a good way to put it. I was trying to figure out what it was. Like I did it and I wrote, and then I watched the videos that you sent us to kind of study for it.
Yeah.
But there was still no rhyme or reason, right? And there's still things that happen. Like at some point in time, Andrew and I had messed up the timer, and we had spent some jokes a little early, and some of us had a little bit of time left. And so there were so many variables that you cannot prepare for in the cage. All right, it's impossible. Mm-hmm. So I think that going through it now once before, I think I could be a much better writer, right? And I think that studying my set and studying what went on that night, because I had some jokes that were like a little more maybe stage worthy, where I had some back end to them, and I was going to tag them up, and those tags weren't hidden. But those one-liners, it was like sometimes I would say something that was just the setup, and it would get the laugh, and then I was stepping on my own toes in a way. So it's a weird way to write, man, but I liked it. It was fun. It was a fun way to talk shit, dude. I love that. Yeah.
And you know what I thought? I thought what you did was smart. I got to tell you, because Johnny Woods comes, he wants to do a show. I'm going to be like, we'll main event this guy.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying. But Johnny comes down out of his market, drives down there out of his market, mid-card battle. And you know what? It was smart, because you got to live it to learn it.
You do, dude.
And you got in the cage and you said, here's how, and you learned all of it. So what I'm saying is that makes you even more of a favorite going into the next serious one, because you've done it. You know what it's like. You know you have that advantage. And until you have that advantage, you're never going to have the advantage. I'm not going to say advantage again, because that would be
that would be advantageous.
But you get the point. You get the point. But I think that was awesome, man. And that's what I'm saying, is you take it seriously. This is a fight. This is Fight Club for people who don't want to get hit.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's what we're doing, dude. We're just slinging dicks. Yeah,
That's it, baby.
That's it, bro. Mentally and verbally, you talk a lot of shit. I felt like that I had a little bit of an advantage too, having a friendship prior with Andrew.
Yes.
And just, it's like everything that we knew about each other leading up to this point that you may have confided in someone about is now like ammo. Right. So I think knowing someone, so if you know me or something like that, we have the closer you have a relationship with a person, the probably easier it's going to be to come after each other. So just know that too. If we do decide to pick these cards, that this does
of course
take place.
Well, that's the thing about being a pro. Like there's a shit talking where you're like you bump into somebody at a bar and you want to fucking just crush their soul because they spilled beer on your shit, right?
Yeah.
But then this is pros. So it's just like a fighter. If a fighter, it's two fighters are pro fighters. They love being fighters. They want to be pro fighters. And fighting this other guy over here is what gives them the chance to do what they love. So they're usually boys. And hell, they're getting paid because of each other.
Right.
So it's like you as a pro step in. You can't, it's not about, it's just like being in a fight. To be a pro, it's not about whether you can hit. Obviously, you can hit. What makes you a pro is, can you get hit and it not be a fucking thing? Can somebody lay a savage burn and it doesn't even raise a single hair on your arm? It's just like boom, on to the next one. Stone cold chin can take whatever they throw. Yeah. That makes you a pro.
Yeah, you got to know that going into it, that it's just jokes.
Yep.
Right? I felt like there was some tensions that night, dude. There was a few battles.
There were some battles that were
There was some battles where I was like, there was some things that were way longer tensions, that years and years of buildup.
There was hate.
And their whole family and neighborhood came to watch them. I mean, I don't know how you picked those cards, dude, but some of them were very fun.
They were.
Leading up and then after. So I also just had a good time, man, just kind of watching the show. So I think for people who are going to come to see this kind of thing, they're going to have a good time, whether they're involved in it or they're in the crowd, because it's nuts, and the crowd participates as well.
Yes,
they're just as much a part of the show as these guys in the. That's how I took it.
Well, you know what? I remember I was raised on old school wrestling, pro wrestling.
I can tell.
You know what I mean? That's I don't know whether
like
I'm giving it away, but maybe a little bit. Yeah. So I brought up these different ideas, and it's all about the audience. There's nothing without them. And this is kind of like, I want them interactive. They can throw popcorn. I sell popcorn that they can throw at the cage.
Someone got hit in the face with popcorn.
Yes.
It wasn't me, though.
We just pelt the place with popcorn. And so, they go up there. They get to judge the battles. They're the ones that get to, by the third round. If it goes to 3 rounds, there's 3 rounds. First 2 rounds are judged by judges. And if the same roaster wins both rounds, we stop it. We call it a TKO. Right. But if they split the rounds, they split the rounds, it goes to the 3rd round, and that's judged by the audience.
Okay. Now, before mine and Andrew's battle, had you ever had anyone throw in the towel and spin all their jokes?
No, I mean, I got to tell you, I wasn't going to bring that up. I've had people.
Well, I put the battle out today, and we're going to watch it on the podcast. It's now full on YouTube. I'm not embarrassed. The stuff that I did put out, I think that I did get off with was very well received for the most part. So I think that I was happy with the decision and everything. But yeah, I ran out of jokes. Like I said, there was an issue with the timer, and I think that either I or Andrew had forgot to hit it. So one of us had did a joke too soon and then too early maybe. I think that I just did one more than I should have, where he should have did one in the first round. But it wasn't like I don't think anybody could have known in the moment what was going on, right? Because I thought I had ample material, but I just should have had more. I just should have had something off the top of my head, but it didn't work out, so people could see it.
Johnny, I really realize now the mastery you have of this media, right? Because I wasn't going to even touch on what happened at the end until we talked positively about my show for a little bit longer.
Sure.
But then you had to bring this up, and I got to be legitimate. I'm legitimate about this. I think, honestly, my honest opinion is when you threw in the towel like that right before the audience, you robbed the audience of their say.
I thought so,
and
too.
I thought it was like, I thought your performance up to that point in time seemed to me at least to be you. I mean, you don't know who's going to win these things. And I don't think that you got steamrolled by any stretch of the imagination. We're going to see for sure, but I definitely think you got to have the idea that if you're going to get back up in there, if it's not something, and I understand the circumstances of where we were. We're out of market. We're doing all these sorts of things.
Whatever excuses I could make.
You got Kentucky kid down here. And you know what? The thing about it is when you battle somebody like they don't know, Andrew, they do now. Andrew Riggs, got to give him respect. You got to give him his respect. Up to that point in time, though, the general consensus was he does anything short of shit his pants, and that's good.
Yeah.
But you know what he did? He surpassed that. And so, I think that was a little bit of it, too. I think it was more like the idea of, I can't believe Andrew Riggs is doing this to me. And so, that was our thing. But
You're not kidding.
But that's what it was. And so, you were just like,
is this guy?
I'm not going to let the audience choose it. I'm just going to shut it down. There's no way I'm going to let the audience decide this. It was me.
You're right. I decided my fate, and Thank you for noticing that. Because,
I notice everything.
You know, I just kind of did it nonchalant, but I decided to lose. And you could say what you want. Yeah. I would say, looking back, that I think I had a very strong first round. You could arguably say that I could have won it, but he did take the first round. And then the judges actually picked Andrew for the second round, which he had a very strong second round. Right. 100%. He had some jokes that landed really well. And then but they decided to keep it going. So I don't know. I want to ask your opinion because I talked to Andrew about this earlier. Okay. So let's say he did take the first round. So in order for us to carry on and go into a third round, by a technicality, did I win the second round? Even if two judges picked him, but picked to carry on.
No, we probably got ahead of ourselves. But I think to do this well for the audience and for me to do this correctly, we have the tape, don't we?
We have the tape. Should we bring him in? Because I want to talk more about you before we do that.
Okay, let's do that. But we'll go back and I will talk you through it all. But let's make sure that they should listen because, you know, I know what I'm talking about.
You're right.
Big deal.
But this is exciting, and I think people are very engaged right now because I am. You're hard not to stare at, dude. With that belt, you have those gloves on. You have like aviator gloves on, dude. Did you fucking fly a plane here?
Gloves. Man.
They're driving gloves?
Yeah.
Did you drive a golf cart here?
I'm just saying if I drive after a while, I don't need to explain myself. I like the look. I got to this point in my life, and this is how I want to look. Back off.
He's going to fucking Powell drive me right now through this table.
No, when I look exactly like I am, I look like somebody who remembers what they thought would be cool at this age when they were 14, and I'm like, I'm doing it for you, kid. I didn't forget.
I love it.
I didn't forget. I stayed it on.
You were dressed very real for the battle as well. Like you came out in a suit. I mean,
it's a big deal to me.
I mean, you hired a ring girl. It was crazy, dude.
Yeah, and we had the singing the national anthem. Everybody stands for the national anthem. It's a professional sporting, just like they would for a boxing match, just like they would do for any major event. We sing the national anthem. Of course, we have a ring car girl because I could get confused what round it is.
Yeah.
And that's Batty of Batty Entertainment on IG.
You said it was round 3,942.
I couldn't remember.
Hold on now.
Let me see.
The level of showmanship. Yeah. So let's just talk about
this. That's what it's all about.
Like what clicked for you? Like, I know you were a wrestling fan, obviously, and you wanted to just kind of do something different. Right?
And boxing. See, I was in professional boxing.
So when did this kind of take place? Where you're like, I want to have. I could tell you're a fucking tough guy. I could tell actually. I don't want to just brush past
the gloves, dude.
Those fucking gloves. You gave me a lot of pushback when I started talking shit about your gloves.
No, I mean, you're a comedian. I'm going to wear gloves like these. I can't believe he brought it up.
He's gonna knock me the fuck out.
I can't believe he mentioned it. There's something unique about me.
It's so funny. But yeah. So what was like the transition? Was this the first thing you did when you got into comedy, or were you a ringside announcer? Like, how did this all get married together? That's really my, I just want to know the origin story of Brad Rigler and the roast battle.
Dude, I was in boxing. I grew up without cable. So I would be obsessed with everything you could see on cable, and that was boxing. So I couldn't see it. So I had to wait till the boxing magazines, they're paper things back in the day, kids. And they would come out. They'd be 3 months behind. You think about getting news the second it happens now. The boxing news wouldn't come out for 3 months where I lived. And I would watch, I'd be reading KO magazine from March. They'd be like, new heavyweight champion Buster Douglas. That son of a bitch has been out of the title for 6 months, done. And so it was I was obsessed with it. So I got so obsessed with it that when the internet hit, I did my internship in college for a boxing promoter. I figured nobody would ever call up them and be like, I want to be your intern. And damn if I wasn't right, because I didn't go to an A tier. I went to B+ tier. And they're like, holy shit, somebody wants to come here. And so I was like, great. So I got in there. I used my in there with Cedric Kushner Promotions. That when the internet was starting to hit right around that time, I said, I wrote for a magazine. Because I wrote press releases for them. And I, of course, would be able to say, I'm accredited in Boxing Digest magazine. Your website should have my column. And they're like, oh shit, yeah, because it was all these .us.
That's a great credit though.
Yeah, but it all just kept going and building up, so that when you typed in boxing back in the day, you'd see my column would show up as being Boxing Poland, seconds out, fightnews.com. It's all over. It's everything. And so from that, I then, turned into a personality myself, the turn of 2000, 2002.
So broadcasting, ringside announcing,
but all with new media,
okay.
But that was when it was hitting, it was all happening. And I was recognized by ESPN and stuff like that as being somebody who gets a press pass, but I wasn't that level yet, but I was still on that thing. I think flew me over to England, shit like that. Point is, I was always involved in the promotion of the fight game. And I got really into it. And then I was at a fight And my big thing was, I was like, you know what, dude? Fight to the end. These guys are getting stopped on their feet. It's bullshit. We got this pussy generation. This is 20 years ago. I was talking about generations of pussy. So it's like kind of like the thing every generation says, you know?
Yeah.
So like, we're pussies. Why are they knocking them down? Blah, blah, blah. And then I was ringside, unfortunately, where a fighter sustained an injury and died. And it really threw me. Like, because I realized all the shit I was talking.
You watched the guy die, dude?
I mean, like, he was beaten in the ring, and they stopped him on his feet, and I was like, that's bullshit. And then he went back to the dressing room. He collapsed, and 3 days later, he died.
Oh, 3 days. What's still, though?
He was killed by the injuries that I said he should continue to take.
Story.
Yeah. And so I was like,
had you already put the article out?
No, but I'd said it, and that's
was
what
enough
I felt.
For you.
I knew what I was watching was, I had no clue what I was watching.
Film.
Somebody was really getting hurt.
Yeah, you're doing a snuff piece. Kind of, in a way.
And so, like I said, and also I didn't get the piece out, so I didn't write the piece and all that kind of shit. And so, but it's always been a part of me. And so I, do comedy, I do theater, I did all that kind of stuff. I start doing comedy. I'm looking for the spot that could really crack. I'm like, where can I get something that can crack? And and then the roast battle is something that has occurred. It started in L.A. They would have it's done differently, and then roast battles are done around. But I was like, you know what? They don't know how to do it. Like just like UFC, like Dana White bought the UFC.
Yeah.
Which was one thing. And then he changed it around, made some changes, and now all of a sudden it's the brand it is now.
Yes.
Right? And so like that was what I was like, all I got to do is Dana White this shit.
Yeah.
And you know what? And then started thinking Dana White, UFC. I was like, boom, this is America. You put it in a cage and everybody's watching. Right? I don't give a shit. They could put the teachers, attention deficit disorder cure, put the teacher in a steel cage. Students won't look away. People love steel cage. Boom. It's going to be a cage fight. It's going to be a comedic cage. It's going to be UFC of comedians. Only instead of punches, they trade punchlines.
Dude, that's crazy, dude. This just came out of your head one day. You were like, I mean, it's the best of both worlds for you. Wow.
But it lets people like you. So here's what I'm psyched about. It lets people who are creatives, I get to work with you. And stand-up comedy, it sucks because it's just me. It's just me up there, and that's fun. I can't say that sucks. In fact, if you see me performing, don't think that sucks. The point is,
buy tickets to Brad's show.
That's right. It's not going to suck.
But it's a lonely game.
But it's not interactive.
That. It doesn't matter which tier of the show you're on. It's a long driving by yourself for hours all the time. It's lonely.
It is. And it's not interactive. I don't have any collaboration.
Yeah. So
you and I are having a conversation. Now, this is what I'm saying. You allow people to have a collaborative, we have that. And so now that's not for everybody. So when you have a roast battle, so the bottom line is, the reason I bring that up is I had this great idea. Yeah, I run it well. Yeah, I give it the best. But what makes it for me the best is booking the right people. If I don't book the right comics, and win or lose, as long as it's entertaining and as long as they take a risk, as long as they write and they give something of themselves specifically for my show, I'm all on board. Take whatever risks, do whatever you have. So it's something that I made that everybody who's on it can make their own.
Yeah, you really did too. It was a great exercise for me. I think when Andrew approached me with it, I was a little reluctant. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I don't know. It's not, like you said, it's not my market. I don't know how many. I'm not going to sell a lot of tickets in Louisville.
But it's a good way to learn, though. You learned it right. And that's what was slick about it. Because now that you go in there, you'll have the vision of exactly what it is. And I think it's good. With that alone is going to give you, because the timer and all that, when we started figuring out the timer, let me tell you, I noticed your screen, you got I'm sure there's some reason your shit is upside down.
Yeah, just to be silly.
But okay, cool. All right. Even if it's just, the sight gag. It's like, yeah.
I'm so dumb that's the only it's just to throw you off from the one up there. It's just a little
it's kind of messing with me, but what I'm saying is
that's good.
I had to bring
an optical illusion.
And what I did was I realized it because I had to build this timer thing, because there's a timer up. We'll show everybody, and it's like a chess clock.
Yeah,
and you get to press these buttons.
My camera did not catch it as good as I wanted it to. I had a great shot in the front row, but the crowd was so big. Last second, I changed my camera angle to the back of the room, and I didn't really get a good shot. I mean, it's decent, but it's a little grain. You'll see it's a little grainy, so you actually don't get to see.
As long as they know that's what they're looking at. You know what I'm saying? There's a monitor up in which you can see how much time each person has. And so that was difficult enough because I had to do it. I had to do it where you guys can see it. the clock for your benefit, and also the crowd can see it. And it was just all these HDMI cords. I do everything from the clocks to the computers to the lights to everything. It's just all controlled by me.
So I assume it didn't look as professional as it does now at one point, right? Because I mean, it felt like I was walking onto like a TV stage.
Yeah.
I mean, it really felt like the real deal. You know, we had to walk in from the side.
Yes.
The curtains are up. The cage is solid. It felt good. Like it was, I liked being a part of it, and I really appreciate you having me. Honestly, man, it was cool that Andrew asked me. Like,
I was so psyched that you did it, and I got it immediately. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, okay, cool. I was glad you had a great time. You did a great job, and we'd love to bring it because I said you got to bring it to the best towns. You got to bring it to comedy scenes, and that's what we got here in Dayton. I've wanted to be a part of it for a while. And just make sure, but you can't just drop this anywhere. There's got to be a cool crew. If I come to the town, it's because the town's cool as shit. I can't do this in whereverville.
Yeah. We got some good comics here. We got some good comics in Cincy. I would love to put something together, man.
You think about, you got to tell me who you think who would be interesting. You haven't got to be like, I've got any problem with this guy. You respect. Who do you respect? I mean, that's what I'm saying. So that way we're giving shout out to how awesome you are.
I respect local comics, man. I would love to battle. I'm going to call it out right now. I would love to battle Kyle Kemper. I would love to battle Wyatt Lutz, John Morris. Those guys are all killers. I would love to have them on the show in some capacity. In some way. Kevin Rupert, I think, would be a good roast. There's a few people who would be some good cards.
These guys would bang with you.
I think we could do a good draw. Those are all guys. Jarrell Beeman. I'm calling it out. Jarrell, I think you would be a hell of a I think Jarrell Beeman and I would be a huge card.
No, whoa. I like that.
I think that would be a huge card.
You and Jarrell.
I think that would be a huge card. I love Jarrell, and I think him and I could do I think I would need like a good 8 weeks to
Steamin' Beeman.
He's a fucking monster. I think the kid is a monster, I think that it would be a huge card if him and I went up against each other.
I mean, like, you don't know.
100%.
Like so you're saying this would actually be a test. I mean, like, it's not a guarantee. You're going to what you'd like.
I don't even know that he would agree to it, or that I don't. Nah. I think that him and I would have to.
Yeah, we'd have to talk about it because it would be. You don't want to talk it too much because, like I said, you just got to say, hey, listen, let's see how it happens. And the bottom line is like, well, our main event that time, those boys, they went too far in one direction. They genuinely disdained one another and had like a lot of stuff happening underneath the surface. I didn't even realize about.
Yeah.
But like that's like you don't want a Jerry Springer rivalry. No, but at the same time, you want to be like, let's play.
I want people who are gonna write just as well as I or better, and that way I have good. Because if someone that's coming and I'm like, oh my god, this guy's a great joke writer, and they know me, like they're gonna. They know my act. They know my act. They're from my town. It's like people are gonna want to see that. I think that's what's important is the aspect of showmanship. Like we used to do a roast battle I used to run an open mic at a hookah bar. Right, everybody should have to do an open mic when you do comedy.
Yes,
I think 100%. You should have to run one for at least a couple years. Yes. You should have to. So I did one, and my dude passed it on to me, and they used to do a roast battle. So I also did one for the 2 years that I ran it. So I actually did have a little. I judged it like you. So I had a little bit of a background in this too. It wasn't, and I'm also a huge fan of like Jeff Ross and comedy battles. But before we get too far, man, our engineer has given us the light. We're gonna bring Andrew Riggs in.
He's in the building.
He's in the building, and we're actually going to watch this this roast battle with the man himself, and we're going to let him tell us how it's really done and see how we did. So
this is really showmanship here.
Let's pause that recording, Mark. I'm going to take a pee real quick. All right, guys, we are back in the studio, and we got a little bit of a different setup going on right now. We got the roast battle live up on the television, so you guys can see it with us at home. We have our man Brad Rigler still in the building, and of course, special guest Andrew Riggs.
Hey-o.
What's up, buddy? Thanks for being here. And let's go ahead and roll this footage, guys. 8 minutes. We're gonna watch the whole thing.
That's right.
And then I guess we can commentate during. Who's that guy?
There he is. Boom. The crowd receives him.
I was looking very hefty in this picture. Not flattering in that hoodie.
There he comes.
Spicy.
The upcoming kid.
That was such a curveball for me because I thought that the audience booed because I heard Johnny boo.
I booed him. And I was, you guys watch it back.
I thought they were already.
Boo.
What? Fuck him.
I love it. I'm Muhammad Ali. You.
Andrew's actually a good friend of mine. He's a great guy, but his daddy, he's a real piece of shit.
I said daddy for Kentucky.
Washed up blues player of the family. Kind of ironic considering blue is the same color as the bruises
That's fucking great.
Opening joke.
30-year-old who looks 40 and acts 20. In short sleeves, he looks like a Sailor Jerry bottle got attacked by a bunch of bees. What the fuck? Okay. Andrew's a true patriot, guys. At least he was until he got kicked out of the army. And it's funny how life repeats itself. Because Andrew's mom actually tried to abort him. But just like his commanding officer, she always thought he was dishonorable discharge.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I had a strong first
There you
round.
go, dude. Look at that.
All right. So, as a comedian, Johnny has very commonly referred to himself as a modern-day philosopher. Which I think makes a lot of sense because a lot like Friedrich Nietzsche, Johnny has syphilis.
Okay, great.
All right, that's not true.
This is the first of 3 times that I get hit with popcorn.
Also, Nietzsche, I believe, is an. I don't want to
It's Nietzsche.
Yeah, is it?
Nietzsche.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it is.
be. I mean, yeah.
We took the mics off of Mark. He could have Googled it.
Just like your dad, you're never going to cut it.
Oh, Jesus.
This is where I fucked the clock up. So I did not press it fully. And the time kept going here, but you cannot see it due to my camera.
Catalytic converters away from a decent haircut.
That was a strong closing
a good
joke,
one.
too.
That was a good
Very funny.
Andrew was actually in a movie, theater, twice this week, masturbating to Dwayne Johnson.
That's a strong close.
The only thing that gets him harder than The Rock was the insurrection.
I feel like they didn't get a huge laugh, but it was a decent
Insurrection.
But I don't think that those two my last joke, I don't think that I should have spin
The
it there.
tags.
Because
you were
I
talking about earlier is
I
the
fucked
tags
it up.
that
Hey,
dropped.
pause this for a second. Okay, so what threw me off in this is because I had 20 seconds on the clock because I guess he didn't hit
Yeah.
the button.
Yeah, that was my mistake
and I was
for not
like-
pressing it
I was
fully.
like, Brad's cutting me so early.
No, I'm not cutting you early.
And I also thought that I should not have said that last joke because I gave myself an extra 20 seconds at the end that I should not have. So that
Well,
kind of
yeah.
screwed me.
It wasn't. I mean, like, I think the bottom line is that joke. You're also, you have to understand there is an interesting thing about the being from out of town. Is that when you roll in, you have no connection to the audience other than they just cheered for you and they know you're about to talk shit. They know you're about to talk shit. But your first joke was killer. It was very funny, but it also could come off as if they didn't realize you guys were friends, they don't know you, you're not from around here, then you're just kind of like massively talking shit about some dude's family.
Yeah.
And so like that's what they're like, oh fuck. So I think by the end,
There's some
those same
pushback.
jokes are hitting better because they are coming at a different time after they got. You always want to open strong, and I think that was fucking really strong. But what I'm saying is like not if that would be the way to open in Dayton. My God, yes. But I
Yeah.
think that could have worked against you because you clearly won that round.
Yeah, I think so too. But I
Clearly.
think the judges thought differently here. If you want to continue the
Yeah,
tape, Mark.
obviously I do. And let's hear what these judges had to say.
Back over. Start with you, Evan Friends. Who do you think won this, red or blue? I'll go blue. Okay.
He hesitated.
Oh, I was blue, and Johnny was red.
I had a blue hoodie on, so it was confusing.
Yeah.
Shorter. I don't know. The shorter.
Said because you were shorter. I thought that was a weird reason for him to give it to him.
This was like a lot to follow. I feel like I learned a lot about both of you during this. I gotta give it to Johnny on this one.
Shout out Lena.
There he goes.
She's very funny too. She's a great judge of character and
Pro.
jokes.
I gotta go. I also learned one. I feel like you guys are like brothers or something. I'm going with blue.
Okay, now let me go back. Evan, who did you say won? I chose blue. Oh, Andrew Riggs upset.
Yeah. So looking back
was an
on
upset.
that, it was an upset. That's why I even commented. I editorialized.
Yeah.
Now we're going in around 940. No, it's round
It's Batty.
I love your exaggeration of
That's
the rounds,
batty.
by the way.
There it is.
I can comment.
Batty Entertainment. She needs to stand up more. She is getting paid.
Now, is she your ring girl all the time?
I want Batty Entertainment to be in business with me.
Full time, 100%. It would go well with your brand.
Oh.
single mothers.
It was a great opener.
Yes.
Andrew is a lot like the Tooth Fairy because no one believes in him and he's not scared to sneak in your kid's room at night.
We were bringing the heat the second round.
Like how a kindergartner would draw Mac Miller.
Probably your best joke.
Andrew's actually married. I had a chance to meet his wife, who was very upset. She said the last time she orgasmed, Andrew asked the guy to leave immediately after. She said
So I stepped on my toes here.
he was training for a jiu-jitsu match, and I gotta tell you, dude, there are better ways to work on your rear naked choke.
I thought the tag would have got a bigger laugh, but I don't know. I think I stepped on the laugh a little bit.
Session,
Also, that's maybe your biggest laugh too. That's very funny.
Andrew's wife actually started a small business this year. Yeah, it was an OnlyFans account, but they're going to take a major loss because their pussy's trash. Johnny and his baby mama broke up, and then they got back together 3 years later. I could best describe her vagina as the take-a-pay tray at gas stations.
All right.
That's
He used my own joke
savage.
against me. It's one of my jokes. He took the.
So
Guess you really are full of shit. Johnny
Now wait, can we pause that? That's crucial. Can you drop that back just a couple seconds of that whole thing? We talked over a little bit.
I actually bleeped it out because his place of work.
Click.
It's actually there's a bleep. You missed it.
Go. Hit me one more time. Let me hear it.
Glad you could be here tonight. Wonder who's running plumbing.
Oh, okay.
You really are full of shit.
Oh, okay. The plumbing company. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
keep
So
going.
in reference to that.
Keep going.
Johnny decided to be a very rare white guy who makes smoking weed his personality and has a mediocre podcast.
That was just mean. That wasn't even a joke. It's just a hurtful thing to say to your friend.
I'm on it right now.
Yeah, no, thank you for being here.
So much, it's actually going to the Supreme Court Justice to seek representation.
Can we rewind that one more time? Because I think we stepped over that a little bit. I just want to hear that one more
got a
time.
good reaction?
It didn't get a great reaction. I thought
got
it was
it.
going to be much funnier. That was one of my stronger ones that I had in the bag. Kind of.
All right. Andrew's actually. All right, I want to do one more. Andrew's dick has been marginalized so much, it's actually going to the Supreme Court Justice to seek representation.
That's fair.
That is.
Yeah.
One more? I can just do one more. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh, there you go. Much
It was me with the timer again.
that he shares his name with. He is commonly surrounded by his peers, and since both of his parents are dead, his roots are in the soil.
I don't know why you got so upset, dude.
Okay, that
Your
was
fucking
actually
problem,
that,
dude.
was dark.
That was dark. Thank you, Brad.
That was dark.
Why the people
It
of
was-
Kentucky got on board real quick too?
It was very dark, and the delivery wasn't. It was very out of
His
pocket.
roots are in the soil.
The people started talking because we did that little back and forth where we didn't know.
Excuses.
So they started talking, and then I was like, "No, we're still. I still have another joke." To
No,
do
it's
here,
all
so-
right. Here's why
Yeah.
that worked. Now, listen. Here's why that popped, because it was fine, because they knew that at this point in time, the nasty mean shit he had said to you was definitely heavier than the nasty mean shit you said to him.
100%.
And then so like at the very end that you threw in something that was heavy and dark too, like I'll go dark too, dog. That really cracked the crowd. They liked the spirit. They liked the balls on that.
That was going to be my opening joke, and I saved it for the end of round 2.
I can't help but think everything I've just heard justifies what I've said throughout this whole
Yeah, I think you said that earlier in a big way that makes sense too, to kind of come off maybe a little more playful, a little more what are they wearing, what do they look like, and then come with the heavier shit later.
That was my plan. Was
I wasn't
know ya.
I wasn't aware of the levity of the
Yeah,
situation.
getting to know you before you're like, this guy's dad beat him.
When a friend confides in you.
Hey, Johnny Woods here. This guy's dad ruined his childhood.
I think we got another clip for the fucking for Instagram.
Hey, what's up, guys? Very first time you've ever heard me say anything. This guy's dad used to punch him.
Everybody.
He used to punch his mom.
Hi, I'm Johnny. I'm
This
Johnny
guy-
Woods. This guy's life ruined by his father.
This guy, his dad used to use him to beat his mom with.
right.
Used him as a tool of destruction. It was
I gotta go catch a
lives a
blowjob from an
shitty life.
IG model in the parking lot. You guys enjoy the night.
Yeah. Oh man. All right, let's finish this battle here. This is fun, man.
Call that too.
You knew the round. That's crazy. That blew my mind there. You were setting us up for a third round.
Well, yes.
yeah.
I like the hair jokes though, so I'm gonna go with red.
The hairline. Oh, she gave it to me.
Very good, very good. Do you want to see a round 3?
Yeah, I do. The Mac Miller line sent me, so I got it.
I told you, dude. That's a great joke.
I want to see round 3.
Accurate.
Absolutely. Now, Evan, you get to decide, is it going to be a straight, are you going to go straight to round 3? We're going to go to round 3 because I know where the show needs to go longer. But
I'm where the show needs to go. Evan, breaking the fourth wall there.
Now we're going into the magical round. Which we go to round 3. That's
Lucky number
And
3.
Keep up.
In my head, I knew this was bad because I had 2 jokes left. Right?
Yes.
At this point, I was
Yes.
like, I don't know where I'm going to go. Right?
No, so you only had 2 left in your pocket.
Well, I had
Yeah.
one more dark joke, and I didn't think it would work.
No.
I thought it was going to be too
We'll
much.
go over why it didn't work after we watched this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's let it happen.
3 jokes each. 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3. Ready? Battle. Andrew actually comes from an immigrant family, or as you guys say here in Kentucky, illegals.
Dude, that should have
should've
so
hit.
much better in
It should have hit
Kentucky.
harder.
When jokes like that don't hit, it makes you feel
Much like
racist.
someone he shares a name with, Tiger Woods, Johnny spends more time driving than with his children.
Also, very funny. Didn't hit that well.
That was
Didn't hit.
good.
It's very
After
funny.
I just said golf.
Play that back one more time. It's a very funny joke. It was one of his better jokes, and I was surprised it didn't. I think the crowd was a little tired of too at the same time.
I don't. I got to tell you that there are people
The
who are just,
delivery,
they are,
maybe.
no, it's not like that. They're watching it. They're watching a fight and they're judging it just
I got
like we
you.
are.
Yeah, it's not the
same
reaction every
thing.
time. I hear that. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not the same thing.
I hear that. Yeah. Let's play it back.
Also, I think the judge at the beginning or the end of round 2, I think the first lady voted wrong because she said, "Did you make a joke about my hair?"
No,
Because she said,
she liked red and she liked the hairline joke.
"Yeah."
Yeah.
I think that we can honestly say I know what the inference is here, Andrew.
Yeah.
And I can also say that I have no interest in saying anything but what I really saw happen. And looking back at this tape, and even that night, this definitely should have gone 3. And there's a real strong argument to this point that it could have been a TKO by my man here. And I don't just say that because it's his podcast. It's clearly he won the first round, I think, in a big one. And I don't think it's out of the question that he won the second. I wouldn't want it to go. I'd want it to go to 3 either way. But I think that, that is really what I see up to this point. Now, what I also see is round 3, I think you're off to the strongest start. You're winning round 3. And so if we're taking it as who's winning this battle at this point, on paper, it's you for sure.
All right, let's clear it out here. Let's finish out this story.
Much like someone he shares a name with, Tiger Woods, Johnny spends more time driving than with his
I
children.
hate comedy. That's so funny.
That is a
bro.
great joke.
That was a
though.
great
That's
Andrew.
a great
You
joke.
may not know this, but Andrew actually has a felony. He fell on his knees out back and blew a guy before the show. Brad, that gets a win.
It's just
And he gets a pop.
it was just so stupid. I didn't know if it worked. That was it. I knew I was done. You could see me searching my phone.
Are like the people around him that have died from heroin overdose. In the low 20s and don't have any sponsors. That's absolutely true. I didn't write any more jokes, so I'll give it up to Andrew, everybody. Let's go.
That's it, dude. You could have just said "fuck Andrew Riggs."
This is what I had. So I'll
No,
say.
and so at this point in time, what I'm saying is obviously I think the judges had too much to say in this. So first of all, the first round there was all wrong on, and so that I don't like the fact that this is in posterity's sake.
Well,
that it's
he
going
had
out
a
there.
blue hoodie on.
That is true.
And I was blue.
They
so
should know
it was
who's
kinda-
They could have told the difference. This wasn't the first battle. The bottom line is they got the first one wrong. I think there was some other stuff also involved, but the bottom line is that there's no question you won the. First of all, it's impossible to say you didn't win the roast battle when when the other guy you were in it
you
said
won.
you won. You won. That's it. It's done. There's no rewriting that history. There's no taking it away. You were there, but and there's nobody saying like, what was that guy even doing there? That didn't happen. You were where you're supposed to be.
go
The
full
battle was
screen,
where I
Mark.
wanted it to go. And the outcome was exactly what the outcome was, is you won. All right. But if we take a look back at this and we learn from it, can I say to myself, what does it mean? I mean, I have not diminished Johnny Woods by any chance, by any stretch of the imagination.
I have.
I've only elevated Andrew Riggs. And I don't know why it can't just be positive. Why we can't
Fucking
just
asshole.
look at that as opposed to like how you've brought somebody
No,
down
no.
who just wants to be afraid. He's trying to put you on the show and you're up there and like, no, I'm the big man. Guess who's in charge now? That's sick, man.
He's a fucked up person. True. But that's why I like him. Birds of a feather. That's what I always say. Dude, I love you fucking guys. This is awesome. I
has
love
been
the
great,
opportunity to bring all of our thing together
Yeah.
here, Brad. This is beautiful to me.
Right on.
Andrew, thanks for bringing us together and inviting me, dude, because it was such a fun exercise. I think anybody who's like a comic in general, young comic, old comic, get into roast battle. Just do it as an exercise. Write these jokes,
Right.
And it's a fucking awesome experience. And I want to bring it to Dayton. So
Dayton, show
you
me
guys
something.
Fucking say
Show
something
me.
in the comments. Tell us
Show
that you
me.
want to bring this show to Dayton. Are you guys going to come see it? Are you guys going to come? Like this show, comment below, subscribe, all that shit. We want to come on your phone. I want to come on your screen. I'm going to do it, guys. Thank you for watching the Morning Woods.
Wait.
Young Mark, thanks for being here. Before we go, Andrew, you have a show coming up this week.
This Saturday at Bricky's. If you use Bricky right now to get tickets, I think that they're 20% off.
Where can they go to get tickets? Eventbrite.com?
Eventbrite.com, or you can just go to brickyscomedyclub.com.
brickyscomedyclub.com.
Me and Jesse Nutt, and I completely forgot the host's name.
And Brad, do you have anything coming up you'd like to plug, my dude? Do you have any social media handles that you'd like to throw out there?
Well, check it. I'm sorry, at Roast War Champ. I'm sure we're going to have the link somewhere. At Roast War Champ on all social media. We're most active on Facebook. At Roast War Champ. Follow it, like it. We're going to hook it up. It's going to be amazing. Dayton, we're coming here. I'm going to say $400 to the winner of the main event, if not more. And we're talking about a huge battle. We're talking about all the different markets looking at it. I want Johnny Woods in the cage.
Let's go,
And
baby.
if anybody's got any steam, everybody's got any heat for this guy, step up, be somebody. You can
Say
be
something.
somebody.
Say
Be
something,
somebody.
guys. Let's do this. Say something. I'll see you guys out there. Peace out.